So, this week, one of the other things that happened is the FBI came out and warned people that conspiracy. Hold on, I didn't set this code up.
Sorry.
Get that off screen. So the FBI has come out and warned people that conspiracy theories are the next domestic terrorism threat. And in their article warning people about the scourge of conspiracy theories, they had this little gem on screen. The FBI said another factor driving the intensity of this threat is the uncovering of real conspiracies or cover ups involving illegal, harmful, or unconstitutional activities by government officials or leading political figures. The FBI does not specify which political leaders or which cover ups it was referring to, but the point of the matter is the ones that spread the fastest just so happen to be true. Oh, but this is we're the conspiracy theorists are the new domestic terrorist. Okay.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna join you in a second. Sorry, everyone. I have something seriously ouch in my eye.
you're a mess this episode.
Oh, you have no idea. No idea, everyone. I will be back in a second. Chris, tell
Okay.
about the conspiracies.
So this list we're supposed to go back and forth with on here was supposed to be I say one, she says one. We have a little banter about each one, but I've been hung out to dry here on live TV, so I guess I'm just gonna wing it and have no sounding board on this. It's like David Stay up in here now. I gotta carry my own show. I don't even have a K to banter with. All right, so the list of conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. The reason we're running down this list is because every single item on this list you can research and find out on your own is actually been proven to be a true conspiracy theory. It started out as a conspiracy theory, started out with whispers, but eventually the shit hit the fan and it all came out and it turned out to be a true conspiracy theory. Now, the reason I'm running off this list is because if we continue to move forward down this road of policing speech and censorship and all this crap and conspiracy theorists are the next target and they're causing all sorts of trouble, when you over police lies, you can hide an awful lot of inconvenient truths along with those lies that are getting shut down. And that's a much greater threat than some jackass running around saying shit that's not true. Like I said, if I go around telling people the sky's purple, nobody's gonna freaking listen to me. They're all gonna, it's another crazy person wandering the streets. So you can't stop people from saying nonsense, but you can stop people from talking about the truth by policing nonsense. Here we go. Smallpox blankets given to Native Americans. Yeah. Oh, we go way back with the conspiracy theories. So one of the ways to wipe out the Native Americans is we gave them disease blankets. Classy. Another one, the Iran-contra scandal. Oh, you want to dig down these rabbit holes. There's plenty of we sold weapons to the bad guys conspiracy theories out there that have all turned out to be true. This being one of the biggest ones. Here's one that I wasn't aware of until doing my research for this. The government poisoned alcohol during Prohibition. The crazy part of this is alcohol manufacturers prior to Prohibition were poisoning the alcohol to begin with. The government came along during Prohibition and said, hey, can you crank up the poison a couple notches? We want to kill the people that are drinking. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know what? I'm going to leave this quote up on screen while we go through all these damn things because it's fitting that we're talking about conspiracy theories that are true while they've got their little quote here. So, are you coming back now here?
I'm coming back. Contact had to come out.
Are you a pirate now?
Hurt is a mofo.
This isn't the yin and the yang that I was hoping for.
No, I know.
Blowing through these.
I know.
All right.
Sorry, everyone. As you can see, what the hell? I have no idea. Something was in my eye, and contact had to come out. Ow.
Okay, so I'm going to take the
Ow.
next one just so you can have the one after that's more up your alley.
Okay.
So we just finished telling people about how the government told the alcohol manufacturers to crank up the poison levels that they were putting in the alcohol to kill off people that were illegally drinking during during Prohibition. The next one, MK Ultra and LSD mind control experiments. Now, the LSD experiments are actually just the surface of MK Ultra. But yeah, your government, for decades, they say they shut it down, but for decades was doing all types of mind control experiments. The fluoride in the water is actually from a mind control experiment that started with the Nazis. I mean, we're talking conspiracy theories. There's only so far you can go before we end up getting to Nazis. But yeah, fluoride in the water. That's where that came from. All right, dear, you've got the next one.
The FBI spied on John Lennon.
Yes.
Everyone tried to pretend that they were all crazy and Yoko is just Yoko.
You guys
She's
are paranoid.
Yoko. No, they're not. No, they were. They very much were. Yeah.
Turns out the government spied and created files on pretty much every counterculture icon and leader in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Thanks, J. Edgar.
Wonder if they followed Elvis. Was he considered counterculture?
Oh yeah. Anyone that had a huge public influence, Hoover was spying on to get dirt on them and make sure that they played ball how he needed them to.
And then of course there was the government is spying on us.
You just show up and now you're cutting.
I am.
All right, well, fine. Yeah, the government spies on us.
And you know how we know? Because Snowden told us. And then the government got pissed at him.
There he is. Yeah.
There are the drones.
The irony is, there was people telling us before him, and nobody wanted to hear them either. He at least was smart enough to bring the evidence with him to prove it.
Remember when we had X-Files and everyone just said it was all a joke? Just, the government doesn't care, it's not watching, it's not up to anything bad. No, it was up to everything bad.
There was actually a conspiracy theory in the first season of X-Files that was proven to be true, and I didn't include it on the list because it was too minor.
Nothing is too minor.
So apparently the smoking man rips up some money and points out the metal strip in it, and that the government...
not the running, no.
The smoking man.
It wasn't him. He would never have done that. It was the lone gunman.
Okay, I thought that was the same person.
No,
my bad.
Smoking man's bad. The three gunmen are the cool three sidekicks.
So anyway, the metallic strip in the money. Supposedly they're able to track you with the metal strip in the money and can literally count how much money you have in your pocket based on the
like every
the
time
metal
you
strips.
Go through any sensor, any like gun detection thing. That's how they're finding you. They know how much money you're taking with you everywhere you go. When you go out of town, when you go on a plane. So
there's a whole bunch that fall under these next two. So I'm just gonna read them off and classify. The Gulf of Tonkin was a battle or an ambush that actually never happened based on what admirals have testified to. And
where was the Battle of Tonkin?
In Tonkin.
Tonkin where?
I don't know. Somewhere over in the Vietnam area because it was what dragged us in.
It's not like Tonkin, Mississippi?
No, it's a big bath of water. So that's what dragged us into the Vietnam War. Then you had the weapons of mass destruction that dragged us into Iraq. That was a conspiracy theory passed by the government.
That one didn't even make sense to be going after Iraq anyway, because we were...
Well, that's why we had to say they had weapons of mass destruction, dear. So the government created their own conspiracy theory. They created their own conspiracy theory there, and they pushed that around until everybody believed it. So if we're talking about domestic terrorism based on passing around false conspiracy theories, I think the biggest one that's been passed around is the weapons of mass destruction. And...
they proved later on there was nothing there.
Pretty much every war we've gotten dragged into started with something that has the sniffs of a false flag. There is actually, depending on how far down the rabbit hole you want to dig, there's evidence out there that we pulled the goalie for Pearl Harbor. We knew they were coming in.
Yeah, that one's not a happy one either.
The sports leagues were all paid for acts of patriotism. All that flag waving, giant 50-yard flags, and the national anthem, and all of the stuff before the baseball game. Yeah, that's all mass propaganda. That's all yay America to get the masses all reciting the same stuff, just like we used to do in school with the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah, that's not voluntary patriotism.
Okay, I don't know what this one is that you found. You explain this one.
Well, if you want to put it out there, I'll go ahead and explain it.
Hitler's skull belongs to a young woman.
Oh yeah. So we had the bones of Hitler For all these years, we got, oh no, Hitler died in a bunker. Hitler died in a bunker. We've got his skull over there, man. Of course Hitler died in the bunker. We've got DNA testing now. You think I can get a crack at that skull for a second or two? Sure. Yeah, buddy, that's a female skull. That's not Hitler. So there's no confirmed kill on Hitler in the bunker. And oh, by the way, another conspiracy theory that turned out to be true. The CIA has documents that they were looking for and tracking Hitler as late as the late 50s.
In Brazil or Argentina?
Oh,
Somewhere in South America.
The whole South American region.
I'm sure they moved around quite a bit.
The Nazis are always up to no good. The Catholic Church spent decades covering up the extent of the child abuse scandals.
Yep.
Almost like it was institutionalized. Oh my God, with the coffin! Jesus.
Jimmy Savile in the British pedophile ring.
Yep. For years and years and years, people said, hey man, I think there's some pedophiles in Parliament, and I think they're protecting this Jimmy Savile guy. This guy was a child entertainer. Well, it's always the ones that are like Pied Pipers for children. They're always the Pied Pipers for children.
Was he a child entertainer or was he a child manager? He was a child entertainer. He was like a human clown almost from the pictures and stuff I saw of him. But yeah, he did like children's entertainment, and he's actually Epstein might take this title down by the time all the dust settles, but Jimmy Savile is actually the world record holder for the most known prolific pedophile that's ever existed. Yeah, there's a great title for you. Gross.
The CIA ran, and maybe still does, a large drug trafficking enterprise.
American Made kind of made that one outed right there. Tom
That's
Cruise
such a joke.
was
We
in
make
the
a
movie
movie about it. Yeah. That's how far that conspiracy theory went from y'all are crazy, don't talk about that stuff, you're spreading lies, to it's a Tom Cruise movie now, we're just talking about it and all that type of stuff.
No, it'll seem like fiction.
Anybody want to take a wild guess on whose jurisdiction this whole CIA drug operation ran through?
Believe it's a BC.
Yeah.
Billy.
BC with some brackets around them. Get what I'm saying?
I don't like this one.
You can jump on this one.
I don't like this one.
Yeah, you're one of the dupes that fell for this.
I didn't fall for it.
Oh, you fell for it.
Big Tobacco knew that cigarettes cause cancer. They knew that the additional chemicals they were adding to make the cigarettes continue to actually smoke down faster were addictive and cause cancer. Did they know that the plant of tobacco does? No, the plant of tobacco, not so much. But the additional additives that you put in there totally do, and they knew that one, and they lied.
The only surprise there is the government didn't ask them to increase the additives.
Make it so that so many people died and they'd have to stop.
Another great one. We talked about this last week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Contaminated polio vaccines spread cancer-causing viruses.
Yep.
Don't know why people are afraid of vaccinations. I'm not saying that vaccinations are bad, but I'm saying there's at least some ground in proven conspiracy theories for people to be skeptical.
It's a good time to have a friend who's a biologist, who's in the whole science department, and have them just take a look at stuff before you put it in your body or your child's body.
Go buy yourself some pH paper and start dipping that shit.
Just, you know.
When's the last time you heard
about a
little
microscope?
A good stack of pH paper.
Just check and see what's in there.
All right. One of my personal favorites. If you ask me, this is kind of the crown jewel of American conspiracy theories that turned out to be true, and also the grandfather of pretty much every other conspiracy theory that's come after them all. Operation Paperclip. Yeah, let's just go hold a secret fantasy draft for Nazi scientists, change their names, bring them all over here, give them CIA identities and leadership positions in our government, research programs, and law enforcement.
And let them have access to classified materials.
Nothing will go wrong with that.
That sounds smart. And then in about, 5-10 years, everyone will forget who they were before, and they can get away with just as much bad stuff, just sneakier this time.
Well, you know what they can get away with? They can get away with Operation Mockingbird, which is where the CIA tried to take over the media. And some would say what we're looking at today with the mainstream media and fake news and all of that stuff is the result of our fourth pillar of government, the fourth estate, getting hijacked by the CIA. Yeah, it's documented, folks. They got people all the way up to the editors, the highest levels of media and print, and influenced what the stories were. The 4 a.m. talking points.
I wonder if that has anything to do with what's going on now with the gigantic merger of the two companies, Gannett Magazine and is it Water something? And I just saw it, but it is now created the largest publisher and distributor of newspapers in the entire country. It has like 260 some newspapers that it controls.
Yeah. The consolidation of all of the news and media and print and press, all of these things is all part of the climbing up to the top of the food train and executing their agenda. Get it all under the same puppet strings.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what William Hearst did too.
Yeah. Well,
he owned so many that he got to have his message across, that when he wanted a certain candidate to win, he had every one of his newspapers say everything the way he wanted it slanted.
That's why Amazon bought the Washington Post. It's pretty much freaking all Amazon propaganda now. Operation Northwood. Oh, look at this. Another documented false flag plan. Called for a series of false flags, domestic terrorism, that could be blamed on Cuba to give us an excuse for regime change in Cuba.
Was this back in the JFK day?
Oh, absolutely it was. Yeah.
Bay of Pigs.
While George Bush wasn't running the CIA. That's when that happened.
I bet it was one of his ideas, though.
Another
Operation Popeye. That is when they started messing with the weather and seeding clouds to create rain, which I think if we all have watched Butterfly Effect, or at least heard of the Butterfly Effect, you affect one thing, it affects everywhere else. You mess with weather, dude, you mess with everyone's weather. We're on a globe. It's a circle.
Weather manipulation is probably my favorite one on this list. And here's why. Because the way this one became documented as true, it just blows my mind. So, 80s. Oh, I think the government manipulates the weather, or they're trying. No, that's insane. The 90s. Have you guys heard about this HARP thing? I'm pretty sure HARP is trying to do weather manipulation stuff. No, there's no way. Then finally, in the 2000s, I just read an article in the general mainstream media. Oh, we're cloud seeding now to create some rain in some drought zones. Just in passing.
They said it on the news.
Yeah, we're weather manipulating.
It on the new news. It said it. That, oh, did you see that rain today out of nowhere? That's because HARP was doing some experiments. Looks like they can make rain. Said it so casually.
Here's another one. This is my favorite one. One of the experiments HARP was up to, and this is another true one. They're just poking holes in the ionosphere just to see what happens. Yeah, we're gonna shoot a freaking focused beam of energy up into the ionosphere and just create a hole there and record some notes and track the stuff as the ionosphere, see how long it closes. Let's just keep doing that until it doesn't close anymore. And then, then we're going to be surprised when space radiation starts leaking into our ozone and our atmosphere and all this other stuff.
And I'm not surprised that would speed up global warming right there. Like, they're not doing it over where people are. They're doing it over the poles, which is where all of our glaciers are now melting. And all the animals are dying because there's nowhere for them to live that they're used to.
It's the same thing with the CERN thing. Let's just start smashing atoms together that we think, theoretically, is what causes black holes, and let's see if we're right. We'll know we're right when a big giant black hole opens up.
Until then, though,
we're
just trying to get there.
I said this a while back, but we've reached a point in technology where there are certain things that are being publicly acknowledged and publicly disclosed that they're being experimented on, explored, researched, and there's no positive social need or impact for any of these things. There's nothing but pain and suffering that the end results of these experimentations will result in. Let's keep monkeying around with them, see where it goes.
And then there's the CIA that created a heart attack weapon?
Oh, yeah.
Is this like what you see on Gross Point Blank, the one that John Cusack has, where it goes down, that like liquid that was supposed to fall in the dude's mouth when he was asleep, but it doesn't, it hits his cheek, and so then he has got to run?
No.
It's supposed to make it look like he had a heart attack.
No, they can basically shoot you with an imperceptible pinprick that will cause you to have a heart attack, and it's untraceable assassination. Again, another great product that there's all sorts of positive social impact and needs for this type of stuff.
How else are you going to have a coup?
And then the last one. Our government's now casually acknowledging that they don't know what the fuck UFOs are.
Isn't that kind of what unidentified means?
Yeah, but forever they were saying, no. There's nothing up there that is unidentified. We know every single damn thing that's up there. Really? Because we've got some dashboard footage from one of your F-15s that's chasing the shit out of something crazy that none of us have ever seen before. Yeah, about that, we don't know what the fuck that is. We've been studying this stuff for a while. We don't really have any answers. Yeah, that's where we're finally at on the alien disclosure stuff is. We're not saying aliens are real, but we're saying we don't know what the hell that is up there and we can't replicate it.
I'd like the government to issue an apology for trying to cover up the Area 51 finding. Like, the first day they tell the truth about what it is, the next day it's a weather balloon. How would you apologize for the weather balloon hoax? Like, just as simple, we didn't know how to handle it, one person lied, we didn't know how to come out of the lie.
Emily, if you're out there listening, you can call in now for Emily's Corner, and we can get that queued up and rolling. But yeah, so there's tons more out there, and I'm not saying to just take everything we've said here as gospel. There's a lot of crazy shit we just listed off here and ran down. Stumble down these rabbit holes. They're gonna take you to other places, and I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna want to go where those places are, because there's a lot of things that were. You can't say that. That's a conspiracy theory. You're crazy for talking about that stuff. That's lunatic. Our government would never do that. And it turns out, they're all right. So again, if there's not a checks and balances system here where we can speculate on whatever the hell we want to speculate on, and if there's smoke there, we can follow that to wherever it leads. Then again, we live in a society where the truth no longer exists. The truth is what we're told it is when you get to a point where you can't even explore conspiracy theories. And on that note, we've got Emily popping in for Emily's Corner.
Hi, Emily. Can you hear us?